There are some people who are seated here. You are studying some courses that you didn't want to study, maybe because it is the most available job these days, or maybe because it was the less expensive course these days. Then you opted for it. You know, there's this Chinese proverb. Should I say it in Chinese or in English? Now, this proverb says, if you want to be happy for an hour, take a nap. If you want to be happy for a day, go fishing. If you want to be happy for a year, get married. And if you want to be happy for life, enjoy your work. Because that's where you will spend the rest of your life at. So I want to say to you, whenever you do things, friends, do things that you love. Expose yourself to the things that you love. Follow the things that you love, because that will keep you happy for the rest of your life. The second point, Bartimaeus knew that Jesus is capable of giving him what he wanted. So when he positioned himself in that place, he knew that Jesus was going to pass by. So because he knew that Jesus was capable of giving him what he wanted, so he went to him. You know, when he heard that Jesus was going to pass by, he could not stop. He quickly made all that he could so that he can be where Jesus will pass, because he knew that Jesus would help him. He also knew that Jesus was willing to help him. He put his trust in Jesus because he knew that Jesus was going to be able to help him. You know, there are some of us who have been Christians for a long time, but we don't know what Jesus is capable of. That is why you hear elderly people when they pray, they will tell you the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac. When will he ever be your God? Because you don't know what Jesus is capable of doing, then you cannot say any testimony or witness what Jesus has done for you. Because even if he does something for you, you cannot even recognize it because you don't know what Jesus is capable of. There are some of us, friends, when you need happiness, you go out and expose yourself in situations that will frustrate you because you don't know that Jesus is capable of giving you happiness. There are some of you, friends, when things go wrong in your life, you find yourself in wrong places trying to fix the wrong things, and you expose yourself to wrong people because you don't know what Jesus is capable of. One person once sang a song and says, you find a person crying or complaining of being thirsty while his feet are in the water. So, because you don't know what the water is capable of doing to your thirst, you always complain about being thirsty while you are putting your feet in the water. You find, I always go to visit houses. If you go to the toilet, I'm one observant person. If you go to the toilet, you will always find that they put some flowers on top of the sink or the tank, the water tank. And you find that the flower has even faded, it has dried up, but it's sitting right on top of the water. You're not listening to me. You hear Christians singing, Jesus, keep me near the cross where there is a precious fountain. But they are dying of thirst while they are kept near the cross where there is a precious fountain. You find people groaning under the burden of sin while they are sitting next to Calvary where sins can be washed. You find people crying while they have the source of blessing. Friends, when you don't know what Jesus is capable of doing, you find yourself frustrated when you have everything that you need. I once read a story. They say in India, there was this man in a certain place where there are some farms. So then an old man visited him. They were just chatting. Then the old man says to him, he talks about diamonds. And then this young farmer says, I don't know about diamonds. Then the old man explains, he says, a diamond is a very expensive stone. If you get a piece like just your thumb, you can buy 4 farms of your size, of the size of your farm. And then he asked, where can I get these diamonds? Then the old man says, hey, it's a very difficult mineral to get. But you see, those mountains, they are very far. They say if you get to those mountains, you can get the diamonds. if you can have money, you can buy those diamonds that are not yet polished, and then you can come here and polish them, then they will give you a lot of money. So this young farmer sold his farm, took his family, rented them in one of the farms next door, and then he went for months to go and look for the diamond. Meanwhile, the new farmer who bought this farm, one time he took his camels to the river to go and drink water there. So one camel went into the water, into the sand, and all of a sudden he saw some stones sparkling in the water. It was like making rainbows. So he picked up the stone, he looked at it, it did not do anything. When he puts it in the water, then it makes some rainbows. So he took it home, put it in the bottle, and then put water. So as the stone kept on moved by the water, it would make these rainbows in the bottle. So that's what he liked. One afternoon, that old man visited him. Then he asked, is so-and-so back? He says, no, he's not yet back, he's since left. And then he says, oh, I see that diamond in the bottle. He says, no, that's not a diamond, it's just a stone that I picked up. He says, bring it here. Then he looks at it and says, no, this is pure diamond, where did you get it? He says, I got it from the river. So they quickly rushed to the river. As they excavated the sand there, they picked up a lot of diamonds. Cut the long story short, I am told that the biggest diamond mine in India is in that farm, where the young farmer sold it to go and look for diamonds outside. I want to say to you, friends, if you don't know what Jesus is capable of doing, you leave him here as a diamond to go and look for help outside. And when you come back, you are frustrated. You don't know what has happened to your life because you don't know what Jesus is capable of. So Bartimaeus knew exactly what Jesus was capable of. So he positioned himself in a place where he will receive the blessings. He cried out to Jesus because he knew he was capable and he was willing to help him. If you do not know what Jesus is capable of, it is also difficult for you to commit your life to him. Then you will keep on looking for things outside. That is why, friends, some of us here, we are seated, we claim to worship God, but we have got other things that we trust outside. One preacher once said, you know, Jesus is going to come. And when he comes again, he will only take those, or he says, he will leave on earth those that trust God too much. Those that trust God too much are the ones who will go in hell, to hell. On those that trust God too much are the ones that are going to burn. Those that trust God too much, he kept on, and everyone was confused as you are confused today. And at the end of the day, he says, those that will go to heaven are those that trust God only. Because when you trust God too much, it means you have got this thing that you trust and that thing that you trust and this thing, but amongst these things, you trust God much more than them. But those that will go to heaven are those who trust God only. Nothing else. So I want to say to you, if you do not know what Jesus is capable of doing, you will keep on trusting other things. Some people are in church, friends, but when the waves of life come against you, you leave the church and you go somewhere else to look for help. There are some friends, some people here, when things are not working well, they turn to friends and depend on them, and they advise you amiss, and you get frustrated. But when you turn to Jesus, he will never disappoint you. There are some people, when they are frustrated, when there is no happiness in your life, you turn to substances and alcohol. And at the end of the day, you get frustrated. There are some of you, when things are not working well, you turn to traditional healers. There are some of you, when things are not working well, you turn to pleasure and forget about God. It is simply because you don't know what Jesus is capable of doing. If you know what Jesus is capable of doing, then you will always depend on him. Point number 3. Bartimaeus used what he had to get what he didn't have. You see, the Bible shows that because Bartimaeus was blind, but he could hear. So he heard that Jesus was going to pass by. As people were talking, then he requested to be positioned where Jesus was going to pass by. As he was seated there, the Bible is not clear how long he seated there. But when the noise increased, and he knew that this noise is not an extraordinary noise, and people were shouting, he knew that Jesus was drawing closer. So he used his ears to listen, to calculate how far he is. As he was drawing closer, he started shouting, Jesus, Son of David, help me. And he kept on shouting and he kept on shouting until Jesus came closer and he stopped. He used what he had to get what he didn't hear, or what he didn't have. So as Jesus drew closer, Bartimaeus kept on shouting. And friends, listen to the preacher this morning. You might be going through some situations. There are things that you are missing in your life. But I'm saying to you this morning, use what you have to get what you don't have. Because Jesus has given what you have so that you can have what you don't have. You may find that you come from a crippled background. And that cannot stop you from getting what you don't have, the spirituality. Your background, friends, should not stop you to come closer to Jesus. You might have been born from a family that doesn't believe in Jesus. Now that you have something in front of you, you have been taught about Jesus. Don't look at the family that doesn't believe in him. Use what you don't have, or what you have to get what you don't have, and have Jesus Christ. It might be that when you look at your life, what you don't have is that background that brought you closer to Jesus. But today, you are exposed to Christianity. You can use that to get what you don't have. You might not be having the Christian background, but you have a heart to accept Jesus Christ. Then you can accept Jesus Christ, and you become the first person in your family. You know, when I always tell people that I grew up in a family where my father, both my parents were traditional healers. When I was still at school, I used to dance like a sangoma. And when people found me being a pastor, they were surprised. How did this happen? It's because the Christian background is what I didn't have. But the ability to read and understand is what I had. And I used that to become a Christian. You might be having some bleeding hearts because of what happened in your past. You might be wounded. You might be having some scars because of what happened in your past. But friends, that must not hide Jesus' hand when he's trying to help you. You might be crying each and every day, tears flowing all over your eyes. But I want to say to you, these tears must not close your eyes from seeing Jesus when he wants to help you. You might have suffered discrimination. You might have suffered segregation. But that should not hide yourself, or that should not stop you from accepting the fellowship that Jesus wants to give you with the angels when he comes again. It might be, friends, that you are coming from a fractured family background, but that should not stop you, friends, from fellowshipping with the rest of the brothers in church. So there are things that you do not have, but that stop you from having what you want to have because of the things that you do not have. The third point, the Bible shows here that the crowd and the disciples kept on shouting to Bartimaeus and saying, keep quiet, keep quiet. But Bartimaeus shouted even more. Friends, do you know that in your life, there are some crowd and disciples? When you try to do something, they will discourage you. When you try to take a certain step, they will say this and that. But I want to say to you this morning, do not allow the crowd and the disciples to stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. It might be that even when you take the first steps where I want to study, they say, who in your family has become this? If it means you will be the first person to achieve that, let it be. Because you don't need a background in order for you to get where you want to get to. So I'm saying to you, there are crowd and the disciples who will keep on disturbing you in the process. But I want to say to you this morning, when the crowd and the disciples disturb you, shout even more. When you want to commit your life to God, but the lifestyle in church, when you look at them, they are living a very rough life. Then you even ask yourself, are these people Christians? Are they really professing to go to heaven? Then you get discouraged. They are just the crowd and the disciples. Shout even more to get your blessings. There are times when you try to penetrate into the church when you are still new, you find that there are some camps and there are some camps. They are gossiping about each other. Those are just the crowd and the disciples. Shout even more.